All right, so it's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and again, welcome. Welcome po sa ating webinar series offered by VBAL. So, my name is Dax Gafud, and I will be your speaker for this afternoon. I will be talking about offline learning opportunities, implementing modular approach in the current educational system. So, first off, I would like to thank Viba for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Yan, so maraming salamat po sa inyo. At ngayong hapon ay pag-uusapan natin bakit offline. No? There are many platforms available, particularly online platforms. There are online tools that we can use, but why is there a need for us to do offline learning? So yan po yung isang mga tanong na sasagutin natin for this afternoon's webinar. So let's go first to our learning objectives. Okay, so first off, so at the end of this webinar, the participants will be able to, number one is describe the current educational system in this time of pandemic. So, kumusta naman ang ating educational sector ngayong panahon ng pandemic? So, lahat po tayo ay nagulat. No? We were really shocked because of what had happened in our country. And again, the Department of Education are doing their best in order for us to offer still an equitable quality education for each and everyone. So second is understand the different modalities of distance learning. So in the learning continuity plan of the Department of Education, they actually offered different um, alternative delivery modes, no, that we can use as educators. The next one is recognize. We will recognize modular approach as one of the offline learning delivery modes. So we will be highlighting in this particular session the applicability of modular approach to learning. And lastly is to show an example of a learning module based on the most essential learning competencies. So these are our objectives for this afternoon. So Philippine education in the time of pandemic. So basically, we were caught unprepared. No, we were caught unprepared for this particular unprecedented learning crisis. Sa totoo lang po, tayo ngayon ay nasa isang krisis sa ating educational sector. Dahil lahat po tayo ay nagulat. Who would have known na bigla na lang magsususpend ng klase early March. And ngayon, nasa sitwasyon tayo na kung saan we are preparing, no? We are preparing for this particular event, lalong-lalo na sa pagbubukas ng klase. So, actually, according to the Commonwealth of Learning, um, 90% of student population were actually affected. That's around the globe. So hindi lang po tayo dito sa Pilipinas ang nakakaranas ng crisis sa ating educational sector, kung hindi ang buong Pilipinas as well. So, but luckily, our Department of Education, no, gave us a plan kung paano tayo makapagbigay ng equitable learning experience para sa ating mga mag-aaral. Kaya nga, one of the proposals na hinighlight ng DepEd actually is the blended learning. No? So dito sa blended learning, it is actually a combination of the online and the offline. So um, face-to-face sa school, kung pwede na, and then at some parts, it will be online. No? So, pero no, an educational system that assumes the physical presence of teachers and students in the same place at the same time automatically excludes some students and cannot respond easily to circumstances that force closure, whether due to pandemic, conflict, floods, and fires, or some other disasters. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na tayo ay nagulat. No? Although natural sa atin na magkaroon ng mga calamities like for example floods, no, fires, and some other disasters, but this particular pandemic is different. Our education system, no, sa ating education system, it's mostly uh, face to face, no. Ang face to face is yun yung ating ginagamit na methodology for us to to give quality education to all our learners. Kaya nga, because of this particular pandemic, nagkaroon talaga ng ultimate disruption. So sa ating pagdi-deliver ng quality education para sa ating mga kabataan. Pero um, nandiyan naman ang DepEd na nagplano agad, no? Kaya nga nag-come up sila sa ating learning continuity plan. So, meron sila actually 5 recommendations. Meron silang limang recommendation para mabigyan ng pansin ang ating edukasyon at hindi matigil ito. So, una is of course distance learning, no? Distance learning, which we will be discussing later on. And second one is the blended learning, no? And other is homeschooling. Pero for the homeschooling, it was mentioned there that there should be qualified parents who will actually guide the students through the learning process. Meron din tayong tinatawag na apprenticeship, and of course, face-to-face. So, number 5 yung face-to-face kasi as of the moment, ito yung ating huli sa mga priorities kasi nga marami pa na areas ngayon, especially here in NCR na naka-GCQ, na kung saan hindi pa possible ang face-to-face interaction. Kaya nga among these 5, actually the Department of Education highlighted blended learning, no? So still magkakaroon pag pwede na magkakaroon ng face-to-face, and it will be combined with off-school activities. And these off-school activities could be synchronous or asynchronous na sinasabi nila. Now, ang pinakatanong talaga sa atin para sa hapong ito is it really possible for us to provide an equitable learning experience to each and every learner given this particular situation? So posible nga ba na makapagbigay pa rin tayo sa gitna nitong pandemic na nararanasan natin ngayon? Posible ba na kapag makapagbigay tayo ng equitable quality learning para sa ating mga mag-aaral? Okay. So, ito yung learning delivery modality na pinropose ng Department of Education. So, you have there for the face-to-face, it's only possible if it's non-ECQ or non-GCQ areas. Um, Actually, the Department of Education put a limit na sa isang classroom is 20 para ma-observe pa rin ang social distancing. Kasi napakahalaga yan. Kasi isa yan sa mga um, ways para ma-avoid natin na ma-infect, no? So nakakagulat nga. So actually in one of the webinars that I attended, the speaker actually told us that there was actually a prediction that in 2020 there will be flying cars, no? Pero ang nangyari sa atin iba, no? We are in 2020, we're going back to basics. You know, we are teaching our learners to wash their hands. We are teaching our students to stay at home, no? So ibang-iba yung nangyari. So number two, we have what we call the distance learning. So distance learning, of course, this is off school, no? Off school sa labas ng paaralan. And under this particular learning delivery modality, we have three. It could be online distance learning, the modular distance learning or MDL, and according to the Department of Education, sinabi rin nila na television and radio-based instruction will be delivered also. So the third and the preferred mode of delivery is, of course, blended learning. And number four is your homeschooling. And if you will see here, no, it is stated that it will be facilitated by qualified parents, guardians, or tutors. So meron siya lang ano rito. So meron silang hinighlight dito na point in when it comes to homeschooling. The those who will be delivering homeschooling should be qualified. Now, apparently, this is actually the picture na medyo kinakabahala ng lahat. No, bakit? Dahil yes, here in the Philippines, we are very lucky that internet connectivity is available. Apparently, hindi lahat ay merong internet connection. So nakita ko to sa social media, nung napaisip din ako, no. So paano itong mga learners na ito? So napakaganda ng ino-offer ng online learning. Napakaganda nitong maraming mga magandang platforms, maraming magandang applications na pwedeng magamit ng mga learners. However, yun na nga, hindi lahat ng mga estudyante ay merong access to good internet connection. Minsan paputol-putol, or minsan sa area nila walang signal, and so on and so forth. So kaya nga mapapaisip tayo, paano natin matutulungan ang mga batang ito, no? Paano natin sila mabibigyan ng uh, quality, equitable quality education? Kaya nga sinasabi, no, given this uneven development of various technologies in various countries, online learning cannot be seen as the only solution of remote, rural, and resource-poor communities. So here, ang kalagay dito, no, online learning cannot be seen as the only solution. So hindi lamang kailangan makapag-isip tayo ng iba pang mga paraan upang ang mga learners na with poor to no internet connection ay mabigyan din ng magandang edukasyon. Okay. So this is now the challenge for us, especially those who are in the education sector. So in an interview, no, in an interview, USEC San Antonio actually talked about distance learning. So sinabi ni USEC sa San Antonio that in distance learning, there are three possible options that we can do. So the first one is the printed learning modules. So for the printed learning modules, he mentioned that the Department of Education is actually preparing learning modules for the students. They are preparing. They are actually preparing it. And now, the public school teachers are yeah, nag-report back to work na. And one of the tasks that they will do is, of course, to do modules for their learners. So that's the first one. So ang tanong ngayon ng bayan is how will how will we give this particular learning modules, no? So in the interview, sinabi ni Yusek San Antonio na we can actually coordinate with the LGUs in distributing the modules, or the parents can actually go to school to get the learning modules for the learners. So yan yung isa mga option. Next is the offline digital self-learning materials, no? So offline digital. So ngayon hindi na siya printed. It's more on digital self-learning materials. So how can we access these, no? So for the offline digital self-learning materials, marami tayong mga learning resource portals na available. And among these, I would like to highlight the DepEd Commons. Isa yan sa mga ginagamit ngayon as a platform para sa para makakuha ng mga learning materials ang mga bata. And it can be accessed also by the teachers and the parents as well. And if it's really possible, sinabi rin ni Yusek San Antonio na we can also utilize online distance learning, no? So magkagagamit tayo ng mga iba't ibang mga learning learning applications na makakatulong sa atin, no? For the online distance learning, it can be synchronous or asynchronous. When we say synchronous, sabay, no? So sabay ang teacher at ang mga estudyante, they will learn at the same time. Kahit sila ay separated by a particular place, pero they are still uh, one through virtually. They're still one. They are still one virtually. And for the asynchronous, pwedeng gawin ng teacher ay mag-record ng kanyang sarili, and it will be posted sa chosen platform, and then the students in his or her own pace will learn independently. Yan. So ito yung mga possible options on distance learning. So offline, again, one of the suggestions, especially when it comes to the module to the offline delivery method, is the modular approach, no? So wherein the teachers will be providing learning modules for the students. So what is a module? So yan yung ating pag-uusapan. Ano ba yung module? Ano ba yung elements ng isang module? Paano i-implement ang module? And later on, I will show you an example of a learning module. Okay? So now, modular instruction. So modular instruction is actually an alternative instructional design that uses developed instructional materials based on the needs of the students. So students engage themselves in learning concepts present in the module. So it will develop a sense of responsibility in accomplishing the task provided in the module. So again, the modules are alternative instructional design, no? So ang maganda kasi dito sa module, once you have it, pwede mo siyang i-print or pwede mo siyang i-modify for blended learners. Napaka flexible ng mga learning modules. It can be done both online and offline. So, and the main thing that we can have here is through the utilization through the utilization of modules, makikater natin yung mga offline learners natin, at makakapagbigay tayo ng equitable learning experience for this particular people. Yan. So, um, modules are self-directed, no? So the learners will answer the modules at their own time, at their own pace. However, later when I discuss the elements of the module, um, kailangan din meron din tayong enough due date or time span on that particular material na ibibigay natin para sa ating mga estudyante. Now, so the concept of module is strictly linked to the idea of a flexible curriculum, which should provide all those concerned with education with a framework to establish clear and realistic objectives. Okay, so again, modules are really flexible. No? Pwede mo siyang, marami kang pwedeng tweaks na gawin para mas maging meaningful ang teaching and learning experience between the learner and the teacher. And through these modules, pwede rin natin siyang gamitin to communicate in the different stakeholders in the academe. At isa sa mga mahalaga pag gumagawa tayo ng module ay dapat we should establish clear and realistic learning objectives. Kaya nga, it is very timely na introduce sa atin yung MELCs or the most essential learning competencies na kung saan dito hina-highlight na lang yung mga importante. At from this particular most essential learning competencies, we can create a realistic learning teaching and learning experience, no, na masasabayan ng ating mga estudyante kahit kahit wala tayo physically. Okay. Now, so a module can be defined as a unit, a chapter, topic, or segment of instruction. So it is a standard unit or instructional section of your course that is self-contained chunk of instruction. So a week is a common module length, but it can be shorter or longer depending on the content and your teaching style. Now, so in doing your module, you can be creative as long as the content, the objectives are met. So depending on your teaching style. Now, so usually, ang ideal na time span ng isang module ay 1 week. So at the start of the week, you will provide the module to the learner and it will be submitted the following week. However, minsan, yung lesson natin ay medyo mahaba, no? So at ang nangyayari, the due date can be moved. So pero ang maganda kasi dapat meron tayong consistency when it comes to due date as much as possible. Pero hindi naman siya ganun ka-absolute. And again, you can be creative in the activities that you will put in your modules as long as the objectives as well as the most essential learning competencies are met. Okay? So, parang ganito yung module, no? So, course. So, this is your course. Yan. So, yung course, i-breakdown mo siya. No? I-breakdown mo siya into modules. So, for example, your course, so you will have module 1, module 2, and then your module 3. So, it's like yan. Ito yung sabi nila na modules are bite-sized or chunks of learning that are anchored to the different learning competencies of a specific course or subject. Or in our um, in our time today, ito yung yung mga most essential learning competencies. Yan. And when doing this, kailangan din ma-integrate din natin yung mga 21st century skills, communication, creativity, collaboration, and so on and so forth. So again, through the modular approach, we can actually initiate independent study or independent learning among our learners. Kaya nga in writing the module, let's make sure na the language that we use are simple pero kahit simple siya na tatard na kuha natin yung na ibibigay natin yung kailangan nilang matutunan at sa huli ng lesson ay makukuha nila yung mga objectives na kanilang kinakailangan. So, kumbaga, kung yung course mo ay libro, no, if it's a book, yung module mo yun yung mga yun yung mga chapters mo. So parang ganun siya. So from the course, it will be divided into different modules. Okay. Now, let's distinguish a course guide versus a study guide. Yan, para malinaw sa atin. Now, so a course guide is actually a blueprint. No? A course guide is actually a blueprint. It will give you actually an overview of what the course would be. So usually ito yung ating curriculum guide. It is actually like a roadmap, parang like a map of an overview of what will happen. And the study guide, ito yung detailed instruction. Therefore, it is actually an instructional material. So it serves as a guide for instruction to the learners. And modules serves as the learner's study guide. Yan. So modules are study guides. Now, so essentially the module structure provide the learners with a roadmap that can help keep your learners on track. Yun yung mahalaga dyan. So, when we're giving modules, so kailangan the modules will serve its purpose, and the purpose is for the students to learn and of course to meet the necessary competencies in the particular subject that you're offering. Okay. So, what yan. So, what are the elements that make up a module? So ano yung mga elements? Ano yung mga elements na kinakailangan na nasa loob ng isang module? Yan. So, for example, this is your course, this is the course, module 1, module 2, module 3. So, first, you will start with the introduction, the rationale, and the objectives. So, the title of the module, of course, after title of the module, then it will be followed by the learning objectives. Then after your learning objectives, it will be followed by activities to engage the students. So, parang ano lang to sa classroom natin, pag tayo nagtuturo, ito yung part ng motivation natin. Yan. So, para ma-engage yung ating mga estudyante. Then after engaging them, you will give now the information. Now, when we go to the information part, could actually be learning materials or readings na pwede nating ilagay. However, again, when we are doing this when we're putting information, let's make sure na maintindihan ng mga bata yung mga nakalagay doon. Kasi nga, ang una nating isipin, wala tayo doon. We're not there to help them. So we try to translate it to plain and simple terms that learners would actually understand. So after the readings, you can go with the practice. Yan. So to check their understanding, whether nakaano ba sila, nakuha ba nila yung nabasa nila, no? And it will be followed by an application, or it could be an application to a real life scenario, or different applications that will be applicable para sa learning competency na tinutukoy mo. Then the of course synthesize, then you do your assessment, a short quiz perhaps, no, 10-item quiz, 5-item quiz, just to check their knowledge and understanding of the topic, and it will be followed by a reflection. No? So mahalaga yung reflection kasi doon natin malalaman kung nahirapan ba siya, nadalian ba siya. So kumbaga ito yung parang letter sa atin ng bata regarding the lesson na nabasa niya through the module. And of course, feedback. Kanino man galing feedback sa atin? So, sa pamamagitan ng appropriate feedback, malalaman ng estudyante kung tama ba yung ginawa niya, no? So kailangan natin dito is timely feedback. Kasi halimbawa, pagpasa ng estudyante, ibabalik pa natin yung mga modules nila at the end of the quarter. So medyo mahirap yung ganun. So as much as possible, when we are trying to give feedback, um, kung binasa nila, for example, this week, as much as possible, the following week, when they get their new module, ibabalik natin yung na-check natin module for them to review, at the same time to analyze kung okay ba yung nagawa nila. So, in the teaching and learning process, feedback is very important. Timely, relevant, and of course, constructive feedback coming from the teacher. And of course, additional resources. Yung mga pwede nilang mabasa, pwede nilang mapanood kung gusto mo maglagay dyan ng kung gusto mo maglagay ng mga links, yan, pwede natin isama dyan. So again, in terms of flexibility, pwede natin itong gawing printed, it can be offline, printed, it can be offline digital, where they can just download, or it could also be interactive given a particular learning platform na pwede nilang magamit. So pwede siya maging interactive activity also. Kaya nga napakagandang i-explore itong flexibility ng module at i-apply natin sa ating curriculum. Now, so the introduction. Yan. So again, the introduction is the module's objectives, rationale, or purpose and context. So yan yung mga inclusions when we're doing the introduction to the module. Of course, we will put the title of the module followed by the different learning competencies. And sa ngayon, usually the module objectives are the most essential learning competencies. Yan. Tapos, again, you will provide activities, yan, that will provide ways for students to engage, no? So, ngayon, medyo malabo na yung group work. Pero since andyan naman yung mga iba't ibang mga platforms, no, pwede rin like Messenger, no, we can actually discuss things there. But again, when we design the printed modules, it is usually self-directed instruction. They will answer it at their own pace, at their own time. Next is, of course, opportunities. So they will, in the module, opportunities will be provided for practice, apply, analyze, or even synthesize the new information that may include the work and practice, exercise, or case studies, and so on and so forth. So, dito tayo pwede maging creative kung paano natin gagawin yung practice, yung application, yung analysis, or yung synthesis. So, it can be in a form of journal, or it could be in a form of different, napakadaming activities na pwede natin gawin para kahit nasa bahay sila, the learning will continue. At the same time, the learning will be fun. Okay, next. So, number 4, again, a chance to reflect and articulate students' acquired knowledge. So, ito yung part again ng reflection. So, napakahalaga niyan. Kasi, again, through the reflection, malalaman mo kung ano yung saloobin ng estudyante mo. For example, pwede kang maglagay ng guide questions for reflection. How did you find the lesson? What were your challenges? What can we do about it? So parang dito nila may lalabas yung kanilang mga saloobin. And eventually, we can, through this particular reflection, we can also develop our modules further for us na makapagbigay ng meaningful teaching and learning experience. Yan. So, next is feedback. And feedback. So again, feedback to students regarding their learning accomplishment of module objectives. Again, it should be timely. It should be a timely feedback. Kailangan as early as possible makapagbigay tayo ng necessary feedback for our learners. Napakahalaga niyan. At constructive. Yan. Constructive feedback. Mga ibang teachers gumagamit pa sila ng green pen kasi green is the color of hope. Yan. So marami tayong pamamaraan dyan na pwedeng gamitin. And lastly, of course, the additional resources na pwedeng magamit ng mga estudyante sa kanilang mga activities. Okay. So it could be, you can actually attach reading materials or activity sheets. Yeah, na pwede nilang magamit for practice. But then again, we should be very clear with the time span. Yan. Now, so it is very important to note that the structure, including the elements and the sequence na yan, and the sequence of the module, ikaw ang magde-define yan. So it is actually you. So you will just follow the format, and eventually you will be the one to define on how you will design your module. So um, so usually it is actually a person when you are trying to do a module for personal use, okay? For personal use, ina-apply mo rin 'yon kung paano ka mag-deliver ng lesson sa iyong classroom. So napaka ano niyan. So napaka-challenging niya ngayon lalo na wala tayong face-to-face encounter. So gagamitin natin yung ating imagination kung paano nila i-perceive yung module na ginawa natin. Yan. So, the structure of each individual module may be unique. Pwede rin naman yon. Or it may be a consistent pattern that is repeated throughout the course. In which case, the structure of the first module you can create, serve as a pattern or template for the other modules. So, depende sa yan kung anong style mo. Pwede kang sumunod sa isang pattern, it's okay. Pwede rin na gumawa ka ng unique module for you, and especially if it's for your personal use. At again, ang main objective natin is sa pamamagitan ng learning module na yan, matututo yung ating mga estudyante at magkakaroon sila ng equitable, quality learning experience out of the modules that you created. Yun yung importanteng part doon. Okay, now, so keep in mind a possible module for your own course as you consider what could be a part of a module. So ikaw, ending ikaw pa rin yan as a teacher. No, ikaw pa rin ang magde-decide kung paano mo gagawin yung module mo. Basta ang importante dyan is you follow the standards, no? You follow the competencies required, especially the most essential learning competencies na available. Okay. So, yan. So, now we will go to the tips. Ano yung mga iba't ibang mga tips on how we can organize an effective module, okay, on your course content. Yan. So, ano-ano yung mga activities na yon? So, of course, number one is to uh, identify key topic areas. So dito na papasok yung natin, yung MELCs or the most essential learning competencies. Diyan na siya papasok. You have to identify all the key topic areas. Now, dito tayo gagawa, no? So, number one, you have to determine what are your objectives. First column. Ano yung mga objectives mo? Dito papasok yung MELCs, yung most essential learning competencies natin sa part na yan, sa first column. Now, if you have the clear objectives with you, alam mo na kung paano siya i-execute, then think of assessment now. So, given this particular objectives, how will you now assess kung nakuha ba ng mga estudyante yung objective na gusto mong matutunan nila? So, again, napakaraming klaseng assessment aside from pero ngayon we are only limited to self-directed learning. Sa ngayon lang naman 'yon. And lastly is the method of instruction. Now, in a method of instruction, syempre modular approach. So, modular approach will be highlighted here as a primary method of instruction. Now, Kapag nabuo mo na yung clear na yung objectives mo, meron ka ng assessment, at clear na sa'yo kung paano mo i-deliver yung lesson throughout the module, doon pa lang natin siya ika-categorize as modules. So kung napapansin nyo, huli. No? Uunahin mo muna yung clear objectives. No? Kailangan clear mo yung objectives. Kailangan yung assessment mo okay na. The instruction, na plano mo na lahat yan. Then pag okay na yung objectives, assessment, instruction, then you will create now your module. So module 1, module 2, module 3, and so on and so forth kung ilan man yan. Okay? Next. So number 2 is label your modules clearly and consistently. So paano naman to? How will you do this? Especially ano to so tungkol sa mga the titles of your modules. Now, as you can see here, yan, module 1 to 8. When you start the title in module 1 as a question, kailangan meron kang consistency na all throughout your modules, lahat yan ay in question form. So it will promote consistency at hindi ma-avoid yung confusion din among learners. So that is kung question form siya ang title ng module mo. Pwede rin naman magsimula sa gerund ang inyong mga modules. Like for example, familiarizing, drafting, dimensioning, mastering, creating, generating, presenting. So kung papansin nyo, yung module 1 to 8, lahat yan nagsimula sa gerunds. Yun. So kaya yun yung mga pwede nating i-consider para magkaroon ng consistency in labeling your modules. Okay, next. Create modules of consistent structure. It is actually a continuation of number 2. But yung number 1 kasi, it's more on the labeling of your module. Number 3 is about 3. So number 1 is time span. So kailangan, as much as possible, pare-pareho yung time span. Earlier, we mentioned that the ideal time span of a particular module is 1 week. Yan. Pero, hindi yun absolute kasi depende kasi sa lesson. May mga ibang lesson na masyadong mahaba, may ibang lesson na mabilis lang. Pero, ideally, 1 week ang span ng isang module. And then the work required. Baka naman mamaya sa isang module, tambak ang trabaho, sa isang module, wala masyadong trabaho. So we can walang consistency doon. So as much as possible, kung pwede, evenly distributed yung mga coursework throughout the different modules. And lastly is about your due dates. Yan. So sa about due dates, usually 1 week. Yan, that's the ideal. But then again, it will depend on the length of the particular topic that you are teaching your students. Yan, for example, ito yung ideal actually. Yan. So module 1, siya evenly distributed. Yan yung ideal. So 1 week. So kasi pag ganito kasi yung module natin, nakapag-set tayo ng expectation sa ating mga students at nakakapagplano sila ng maigi na okay, for this day I will do this activity, for this day I will read, for this day I will answer the question, for this day I will do the reflection, and on this day I will prepare it for submission. So parang nagkakaroon sila ng ganung pattern na, no? Kaya yun yung maganda. Yun yung maganda kapag pare-pareho yung time span ng ating module. Kasi kung halimbawa ganito, yung example natin, module 1 isang araw lang tapos. Yung module 2 kumain ng almost 3 weeks. Tapos yung module 3, 3 days. Tapos yung module 4 mo, 4 days. So parang parang medyo confusing siya, no? Medyo confusing siya. Yung again, in the modular learning, we're promoting responsibility sa mga estudyante. At yun nga, magkakaroon sila ng pattern kung paano nila gagawin yung mga modules. So pag ganito yung example natin, so parang maguguluhan sila, ang dami naman gagawin for this module na to. So biglang bibigyan sila ng module na good for 1 day lang. So maganda pa rin na ideally na ang ating pattern is this, pare-pareho, if possible. Okay? If possible lang naman. And in the guide that the Department of Education provided, especially in the most essential learning competencies, nakalagay naman doon yung workload, kung ilang araw mo siya gagawin. For example, in a milk 1, 2, 3, nakalagay doon 1 week. So, yun, pwede natin i-apply yun on that particular module creation. Yan. So, lastly, we should also consider na hindi lahat ng estudyante ay mayroong pantay-pantay na sitwasyon. Okay? So, bakit? Some of our students, meron silang resources. Some of our students, limited resources. And some of our students, no, almost walang resources available. So, kailangan maging considerate din tayo. Maging considerate tayo sa paggawa ng ating module at pagbigay ng time frame para sa kanila. Kasi minsan, kung titingnan mo yung module mo, pag ikaw, okay na to, pwede na to for, kaya to gawin in one day actually, one sitting, kaya itong gawin. Pero syempre, hindi lang naman tayo magbibigay ng module sa kanya. Ilan ba tayong subjects, di ba? So, magbibigay ang ibang subject din ng modules for the learners. So with the particular parang if we set a realistic time frame para sa mga bata, given na magbibigay din yung ibang teachers ng module, it will really help the students uh, to budget their work, no? Especially sa ganitong setup, sa modular delivery. Okay, so this point, I will show you a module that I created. No, not created. I used. Kasi ay meron ng reference dito. So, yan. So I will just pull it up. Okay, so here. Okay, yan. So, this is actually a module that I used for the past years when as I teach philosophy. Pero ito ay medyo medyo inayos ko na siya kasi kailangan siyang i-align sa MELCs, no? So, ito yan, no? So, of course, we will start with the introduction. Introduction mo, of course, your unit 1 doing philosophy. Then the module title. So, ito yung ating dito yung ating mga objectives. And actually, objective 1, 2, 3, ito yung, if you will go to the most essential learning competencies in the subject Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person, ito yung MELC ng week 1 ng philosophy. Distinguish a holistic perspective, realize the value of doing philosophy, and doing a philosophical reflection. Then, after introduction, ano sinabi natin kanina? Activity. Yan. So, magkakaroon siya ng activity. They will read a poem. Tapos after reading the poem, they will have processing questions. Yan, magkakaroon sila ng processing questions wherein they will process their learning sa pagbasa nila ng poem. Tapos, processing questions. Then, ito na yung information part wherein they will do the reading. So magbabasa sila. Okay? So they will read. Okay. So after reading, activity again. Yan. So activity based on the reading that they had. Okay. So after that, check for understanding. Okay, assessment. This is actually this is the application part. Application part. Yan, short assessment and reflection. Yan. So, reflection. So, on this reflection, The students will now write, no, sulat nila yung kanilang reflection on the first lesson with a particular guide question. And of course, don't forget your reference. Yan. So meron siyang reference sa dulo. Um, Assess your feedback. So checkan mo yan. Then you will put your comments. You will indicate your comments. Then you will return it in a timely manner. Yan. Para hindi mabitin yung learning ng mga bata. Yan. So ito lang naman po ay sample na ginawa ko in preparation for this coming school year. Yan. So there. So balik tayo sa batang to. Yan. So again, so paano natin matutulungan ang batang yan? Yan daw. Bigyan natin ng printed module. So this actually, a very a very good example, no. Kasi syempre as teachers, gusto natin mabigyan ng equal opportunity lahat ng ating mga learners, no, na matuto. So I really have high hopes that the modular approach or will actually give an equitable quality learning experience for all our learners. Yan. So module. Yan. So here are some references. No? Here are some references that I used in this presentation. Okay. And yeah, yeah, we're done. There you have it. The modular approach to teaching and learning. So at this point, I will be entertaining some questions coming from you. And we will entertain some questions. Okay. We'll just wait for the questions to come in. Okay. So there was a question here. Um, our question here is that how this modular learning be delivered to all pupils, especially in the remote areas. So actually, I mentioned earlier that this particular learning modules can be delivered by the in coordination with the local government unit. Yun yung na-mention sa interview ni USEC San Antonio. Yan. Yun yung na in coordination of the yan. So okay. So tapos aside from that, if the teachers, kung kaya natin mag-deliver ng learning modules at willing tayo, it's also okay. It's also an option. And pwede rin na yung mga parents yung magsusundo ng mga learning modules. Again, merong pine-prepare ngayon ang Department of Education ng mga modules. So, tayo rin mga teachers, pwede tayong gumawa for our personal use. Ayun po. So maraming salamat po sa inyong tanong. Okay, next question. Hmm. Sir, may module din po ba sa senior high school na makikita sa DepEd Commons? As far as I'm concerned, as of the moment, ginagawa pa yung mga learning modules. Ang available lang ngayon is yung MELCs, yung Most Essential Learning Competencies. So sa senior high school, meron na ron na for yung core subjects, meron na ron for applied subjects, and some major subjects meron na rin. Ang parang wala lang ata is for yung TBL. Ayan. So, third question. Okay, let's just wait for the questions. Hmm. Okay. So may tanong rin, Some parents have concerns with regards to utilizing modular type of learning since they can't explain some concepts to them. How will we address this concern? Opo, totoo po yan kasi what if yung mga magulang medyo nahihirapan din. Kaya nga po, it is very important that when we are creating our modules, it will be we will use plain and simple language or plain and simple instructions para maintindihan ng mga bata. And again, we can be creative in doing that, especially if it is our personal personal module na gagamitin mo for your own class. Pwede po 'yun. Okay, so fourth question. Hmm, does rubric included po for the module? Um, meron talagang format, no? Meron talagang official format na nagagamitin kasi when we had actually our meeting, faculty meeting earlier, it was mentioned it was mentioned that you can actually submit your modules for evaluation. Yeah, however, for that particular evaluation, yeah, meron siyang set of criteria na dapat mong sundin. Meron doon na nakalagay na criteria. Tapos, after noon, you can submit it for evaluation. Pero naman, kung gagawa ka ng personal module mo, okay lang naman yon. As long as you meet all the learning competencies needed, no? Para sa mga learners mo. Okay, so, marami na pong mga questions. Okay, okay, so I think this will be the last question that I will answer. Okay. Is it okay for students to discuss among themselves or have group study? I think hindi naman po siya problem. You can actually, pwede naman if pwede silang mag-collaborate, no? Pag merong pag possible lang collaborative learning, why not? Kasi maganda rin naman yun eh. They will learn from one another. Kung kaya. Kasi yun na nga, actually ang concern nga natin bakit natin pinag-uusapan itong offline learning is paano yung mga learners na walang access, no? I mean, walang internet, walang or limited to no connectivity. Okay. So, ngayon pa lang po pumapasok yung mga questions ninyo. Pero actually you can follow me on Facebook. That's actually my Facebook page, Sir Dax knows. You can shoot your questions there and I will try to entertain you. And kung gusto niyo po nung copy nung ginawa kong module kanina, PDF copy siya actually. You can actually just um, send a message no sa page na like and ano lang pa, like and follow my page and I'll give you updates as well as I will give you learning the sample module that I did. Then I will also attach a guide for you. Yun po. Okay, so yan. Okay. So there. So yeah, so again, thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon, and I hope you learned something from this webinar. And please tune in pa rin sa Vibal kasi all throughout the week, it's all about the modular design or the modular learning approach ang i-discuss ng mga speakers natin ngayon. So siguro before I end this stream, I would like to thank the people behind behind this success. Of course, number one, again, I would like to thank Vibal for giving me this wonderful opportunity. So medyo nagulat po ako sa invitation na to. So maraming salamat po. I would like to greet also my sister, Mary Ann Gafford, Maan Gafford. Yan, kasi tinulungan niya po ako sa pagbuo nitong presentations and proofreading ng modules na ginawa ko. So thank you so much, Maan. Shout out din sa Commonwealth High School. Ayan, especially the senior high school department headed by Mrs. Lorelina G. Morera, and of course all my co-faculty sa senior high school. Hi guys. And of course to our principal, Dr. Diego M. Ami. Yan, so again, maraming salamat po, and you have a great day. Bye.